Hi everyone, I'm Adam.
And I'm Chris.
And this is the Gamers Hall. And today we're going to talk about unconventional character builds for a specific theme. And today's theme,
We're going with pirates.
Yarr. Alright, so pirates. Right there.
Captain Puss in Boots. Nope, that's wrong. This is Captain Catapult from Dungeon in a Box, Box 1.
Yeah. A little bit of our inspiration for this episode. Well, first off, pirates, classic theme. It's definitely something everybody knows about. There's been tons of movies, books, literature.
A lot of people like to or want to do a pirate campaign.
Yeah.
In Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It fits the D&D archetype of, hey, let's go find loot, and we're going to take it. And, there's a lot of classes and builds that are normal for this.
So, give me an example of some of your a typical build that someone would make for a pirate campaign.
Human swashbuckler rogue. I mean, it's literally in the name. It's there. That's what it's meant for. It's supposed to be stabby, jumping from place to place, getting in and out.
High damage.
Yeah,
good.
high damage.
Gets a sneak attack on single targets.
Yeah, then you have...
The Storm Sorcerer would be a good one.
Storm Sorcerer is great. Control the weather. Every pirate ship needs somebody to do that. Then you have Champion Fighter, basic kind of guy. I mean, he's there to put out damage, to be the best beater he can be. Also, he gets that athletics bump at level 7 where he just, jumping from ship to ship is not a thing to him.
Yeah. Tempest Cleric.
Tempest Cleric is, the sea. Come on. That's
right.
Pretty easy. I think those are a few of your normal ones. I mean, you also have the Berserker Barbarian if you want to go with the Norse Raiders. Just getting on their longboat and going across and just taking somebody out, taking their stuff, and getting back on the boat and going home.
Yeah. All right. So today we're going to be talking about unconventional pirate builds. A few years back, I actually ran a pirate campaign for my friends. Adam was one of the players, and he made a really unconventional build that I asked him to speak about in this video. So, take it away.
Well, the name of the character was Bree Sabine. And what was important about her is that she was a priestess of Umberly, which sounds normal. So she did have cleric, she did have the Tempest build. But I mixed in...
She was also an old, salty wench.
Yeah, she was really mean. Really mean. But I mixed in a little bit of the Storm Barbarian, the one where he gets the extra abilities when he rages. Storm goes around, or she would have a storm going around her. And Barbarian and Cleric don't mix. Can't cast spells when you're raging, and Cleric is typically not a great frontline fighter.
No,
but I built her to be that one, and my theory behind her was to make her just the center of attention, the eye of the storm, if you will, to where all my crew, because I was the captain, I did not mean to be the captain, but I got stuck to be the captain.
Yeah. Also, good point though. Like he said, those classes don't mix very well, which any power gamer, as soon as you hear someone say, oh, I mixed barbarian and a caster, immediately like, oh, you can't cast while raging. That class is dead and horrible.
It's a non-bow. It's a non-bow.
Not true.
Yeah. I ran into a couple of those things, but at most time, never was an issue. It's just about planning.
Yeah.
So I picked up a few things to kind of make her better. I picked up the shield of arrow catching, or no, it was missile deflection.
The missile snaring?
Missile snaring. Well, it's a shield that sucks all the arrows in. So it's basically when I came up and I sat in the middle of everybody, if somebody shot something, it was getting shot at me. which I would rage and I would do that to take the hits. But before that, I would usually throw a buff, or sometimes if I needed to crack the hull of a ship or something, I would
cast Shatter.
I would cast Shatter, because that get access to that as my cleric domain, and I would just go up next to a ship and just boom, blow it up. I actually completely annihilated a guy in a boat.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
When he tried to get away, and I didn't particularly care for that.
Nah, it's just blood splattered everywhere. It actually freaked out a couple of the crew, actually, if I remember correctly.
But the main part of her, and what I wanted the class to feel like, is when she said something was going to happen, it was going to happen. There was no choice about it. I made sure that when I said, my God wants you to pay your dues, which was her catchphrase, pay your dues. If you paid your dues, we're good. But as long as you...
I DM'd that every time they stopped in port, the crew would literally go around and change their gold for copper pieces so that they could throw copper pieces, because they're pirates, they're still stingy. But when you have Bree Sabine as your captain, you're making good money with the looting that y'all are doing, but they always made sure they threw copper pieces out into the ocean, because she didn't care what you threw as long as you paid your dues. So that's what they did.
Is a little flavor for me, which, if you don't know, Umberlee is the goddess in Forgotten Realms of the Sea. Her classic name is the Bitch Queen. For a lack of better words.
Remember the ship's name?
No.
The Bitches Do.
The Bitches Do, that's right. Yeah. But it was fun playing a character that she was evil, but she wasn't meaning to be evil. She's very motherly. She cared a lot.
You actually weren't even the strongest player.
Oh no!
At the table.
Oh no! My stats were terrible because we rolled stats. Because I'm not a big on just taking. I like to roll. I like the random chance to see what I got. I got below.
You got below point by.
Below point by, and I was like, "That's what I am. That's what I'm gonna go. I'm a human, and I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna see what happens." And I became the most feared person on that boat, not because I could kill anything, but because of the fear of retribution that was around me. If you messed with me, you messed with anybody else in my crew, and you messed with Umberlee, and nobody wanted to test that.
Yeah, and at least 2 or 3 of the characters could have probably killed you easily in a duel.
Oh,
but
Aaron's character
were way too afraid to do it.
His death paladin, effectively.
It was the, I forgot what paladin oath he took, but it was
Oathbreaker.
It's Oathbreaker Paladin with the mystic.
Yeah,
and
the mystic at the time.
God, that was horrible to deal with.
Right, a lot of damage. I was gonna die.
Really high AC.
But you know what? Nobody questioned me. If I said it was gonna be that way, it was. And that's how I played the character.
You actually made a special deal with him. She made a special deal with him so that, like, to keep him in check, so that you stayed captain and he stayed doing what he did.
Right. I mean, I played it with the deals, and every class feature I picked up, every item I picked up, dealt with me either becoming the person that would take the hit for the party or be the face of the party. The only one thing I picked up, you ended up letting me get Gauntlets of Ogre Power towards the end of that little campaign because my strength was horrible, and I was like, I need to be able to pick things up and bash somebody, because I only had a 14 strength at the time, and like I said, not the greatest barbarian, but damage output wise, I still stuck in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Most people. It's hard to take me down when I would go into rage, but when I needed to heal or something, I would just pop out of rage and just go do the heal or throw a small buff or anything. But the main point of the character was to just control the ship.
Yeah.
And to become that iconic Captain Blackbeard, or that person that if you hear my name and I'm coming to port, you were afraid.
Yep. I remember actually by the time we ended that campaign, you guys had actually destroyed an entire town.
Yeah.
Just completely burned it to the ground.
Well, yeah, we did. Also, I died, which, by the way, for guiding bolts to the face generally mean you're dead. But lucky for me, I played it enough and role played it to where I became a chosen of Umberly, and she brought me back in a very horrible way.
Yeah, your long lost son.
Yeah, because I had lost my children, which is what drove me to be to follow Umberly.
Salty old bag.
Yeah, and it come to find out Umberly had just taken him from me and made me who I was. Well, I got brought back, and it was not fun for me at that point, but it did leave a lasting mark on my crew. Nobody wanted to mess with me after that.
No, they definitely didn't.
But so I tasked Chris with the idea of with basically taking two classes that don't normally go together, like I did with the barbarian and the cleric, and I said, all right, make a pirate out of this. The two classes were druid and monk. What'd you do?
So, from a roleplay aspect, the roleplay aspect is what led me to the choices I made for this build, which was I wanted to make some type of monk that dealt with nature and the elements. So, being at sea, water, and you're going to be around fire, and the storms are going to bring lightning bolts and stuff. So I was like, you know what, elemental monk, it just seems like the way to go. And I know a lot of people out there think that is a garbage monk, but
disagree wholeheartedly.
You can make any class well worth it. And for instance, this is a whole nother video that we're going to do at a later time, but I used to think that the arcane archer was a garbage subclass except for a 3-level dip. If you did any more than a 3-level dip, then it's just a garbage class, and he actually convinced me otherwise. But that's another video for another time. So the elemental monk, when you take the elemental monk, you don't take the casting spells. You don't take any of the abilities that require to cast. You actually choose the water whip or the fangs of the fire snake or the air blast one. You pick those instead. Yeah. And the reason you're going to pick those is because when you go druid, now with druid there's many different things you could do. You could obviously be way caster heavy and choose a lot of the more elementally spells, but I actually wanted to go with the moon druid so that I could,
which is really interesting, by the way, just to think that you're going to be a fighting person, and then you're going to go into animal form and to do more fighting.
I actually took a little bit of inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Because they
badger moles.
Yeah, they originally learned how to do how to bend from animals. Yeah. And the animals taught them how to bend the elements, so it's I was I'm just going to lean into that hard. I'm going to be this moon druid, and when you wild shape into an animal, I was I'm going to do sharks and alligators or
porpoises,
maybe some spiders, but also
seagulls eventually.
Yeah, eventually seagulls, which you can fly around. And you can do your elemental monk abilities, because all you do is you spend key points. There's no somatic. There's no there's none of the casting part of it. So you could use those elemental forms while transformed.
So as a shark, you can water whip a guy next to the boat into the water, and then just gnaw on his face.
Yes.
That's awesome. like right there, the picture of a pirate, just a dude on a boat, just sailing on this little boat, and all of a sudden this little dun 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 dun, shark pops up, and then a water comes and just yanks him into there, and he gets eaten when he thought he was safe. That's hilarious to see it happen at a table.
Oh yeah, and that's my whole inspiration. And then you could also turn into a seagull, fly around and water whip people, or use the air blast to knock them off the ship. or water whip them into the ocean or whatever. Like, you could transform into a bear, and now your bear has a 15-foot flaming claw attack.
So what you did is you ended up making a class that has like crazy versatility.
Yes.
Like crazy as in that doesn't make any sense, would freak out any normal person, which is really interesting, which is one reason I like the elemental monk myself, because it's one of those monks that has the most unique versatility out of all of them, right? I mean,
right.
You get to do these abilities that take up your key points, and they're spell-like, but they're not spells, and you get them back at a short rest, and on top of that, you can pick up really strong spells like Hold Person, which, I don't know if you know, but if somebody's being held by Hold Person, and a monk comes up, that's a beating that they're not going to like.
Not at all. The Hold Person is actually worse than being stunned.
Yeah, paralyzed.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead, advantage crit, and now, but you're doing it in bear form, or you could do it in,
you'd have to cast the spell first and then change.
That's in your first thing. You can go, I'm going to cast, and now I'm going to turn into the shark, and now I'm going to eat you while you're paralyzed in the water.
Yep.
Ugh.
Oh, dude, if you just paralyze, you could just let them drown to death.
You could, or you just drag them farther down.
Yeah.
You don't even have to try and kill them. You just keep taking them down farther, and farther, and they're screwed.
Yeah. But also another fun thing is, I thought it would just be cool to like really play into the elemental aspect of it. So like, even if those first levels you're not really wanting to do a lot of wild shapes, because you can't really get, you can't do any of the swimming speeds. You can't do any of the flyings. So like, you're just gonna be bears and stuff. But I wasn't even leaning into that. Just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna heat metal. I'm gonna be a monk, and it's like, hey, I'm fighting somebody. It's hard to hit them. I control the elements.
Yeah.
I'm gonna heat metal on their armor.
Well, you could also be a rat hiding in the galley.
Yeah.
If you want to sneak in there, just be a rat.
Sneaky.
And then pop out to cast some spells and go back to rat form if you need to.
Yeah.
But, so, what position do you feel like this would fit on a ship? I mean, what would this guy kind of be to the ship? Because obviously Bree was the captain. I was the first mate at first, and then I took over that role of leadership because of my dominant personality. What would this guy feel on a pirate ship?
Honestly, there's so many things he could do, because even if you pick the one to do the gust of wind, spin the key points, boom, per short rest, he's getting back. You're like, wherever you're going, that boat's getting there a whole lot faster now.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit of the steersman maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
controlling where the ship goes. I mean, not necessarily.
he's
piloting.
It's kind of a jack of all trades. It could be an infiltrator. Yeah. It could be your tank. It could be your lookout. There's so many different positions, and like, you could transform into stronger things to like the sails need hoisting. Yeah, I'm just going to transform into a bear and hold this down. Yeah. It's nighttime, then I'm pretty sure you can actually
turn into creatures of dark vision.
Yeah. So like, there's so,
or at least to have heightened senses of some sort.
There's so many different things and positions that like, very versatile. It could literally fit almost any position. Right. Could even be just the monk training alone could be master at arms. Sure. Like, you're not really teaching them to use weapons. You're just teaching the bandits how to fight and dodge better and more properly.
And eventually you get high enough level, you can pick up some of the mobility of the monk, and then you would also, because your speed would be outrageous, then some of your other, depending on how high you go in monk, I mean, you can run across water eventually. Yeah. Which is pretty neat before you turn into an animal. Or you go into druid a little bit more deeply, and then you can become an elemental eventually.
I was going to be getting to that eventually, where who doesn't want to be the fire elemental, water whipping people to them and then just jacking them up?
Let's go back to the Avatar: Last Airbender. You could be the giant water octopus, or not the water octopus. It was the giant seal in season 1 when the Avatar channeled that, and then you could have the giant water tentacles just beating the crap out of people.
Yeah,
as a water elemental. I mean, obviously on a much smaller scale, but
it also kind of gives you more of that Avatar feel when you transform into an earth elemental, but then you're using the fire strikes to get the extra reach on people, or you're water whipping them towards you. Like it's honestly, I like it more for the flavor than how actually good it actually is on paper.
Like it could fit into lots of different pirate things. You could, classic Caribbean. You could also do marauding style. You could have the more desert oriented kind of pirates where they get
not to mention
sand.
If you're pirates and you're going to from your island hopping, like who doesn't want their local druid helping them traverse the forest and other terrains and stuff?
Goodberry.
Oh goodness gracious, yeah, your crew is never gonna starve. It's like, yeah, we got this covered.
Yeah, so that's when I gave you those two, I did not think that you would come up with something just so unique and awesome. I was like, this is just going to be hard. But honestly, that is one of the coolest ideas I've heard in a while.
Appreciate that.
Because it just sounds fun.
Oh yeah, it's because I mean, granted, it's anything Moon Druid is usually considered a power build because it's a lot of people consider it the strongest of the druids, but mixing in the flavor of the elemental monk with it, just like I didn't even care. I honestly just wanted it because it sounded awesome.
I mean, it's not it doesn't matter that it's going to be powerful. It's that it's unconventional, right? I mean, it's not something normally people would think of.
It was. I made it for the unconventional purposes, and it turned out to be stronger than what I thought it was going to be. Because I was like, it's not going to be strong, but it's going to be fun. And I was like, oh, on paper, this is so much stronger than I thought it was going to be.
By the way, guys, that's one thing we definitely want to help people out here is to understand that any class build, anything you do, can become powerful or strong. It's really in a matter of how you play it and how it fits in that campaign.
Yeah.
And the two things we've come up with here fit pirates amazingly.
Oh yeah.
So they'll probably fit other campaigns too, but
I don't see why not.
But for what I believe we came up with, I think, well, I know mine did for sure, and I'm pretty sure his will too. Good pirates.
Oh yeah.
Great pirates. Good or evil, by the way. They don't have to be, necessarily bad pirates. There's also good pirates, but
oh yeah,
not a whole lot.
Oh, but yeah, leaning more towards the roleplay aspect of that was I also like the fact that the reason that this particular character wanted to be a pirate was to learn more about the elements, and learning more about the elements through nature, you have to travel.
Right.
So why?
That's all you're doing.
Yeah, you're going from place to place, and like it's okay. Well, I want to learn. Like, we're at this new place. What does it have? What can it teach me about my elemental abilities or enhancing those abilities?
Yeah. Going to a volcano to learn about fire. You travel on the boat.
Yeah, or maybe I find new animals to talk to and congregate with that is more influence or inspiration for newer abilities.
Also, I like to say that for pirates that tend to not want to sink ships, this is a great class build to just sink that ship. Go ahead, sink it, because our druid monk friend can just go down there and get the loot. So let's just blow up that boat and we'll go get it later. It's so much easier to deal with.
Yeah, but that would be like. I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah. No.
But guys, if you enjoyed that and you want to hear some more class builds, you can go ahead and put down in the comments what you would like us
give us a theme.
Yeah, themes.
That's and we'll go with it. We'll make something, or even if you want, just give us a race and a class or two, and trust me, we'll figure something out that's unconventional and probably going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, and you could even give stipulation maybe of a setting that it has to be in or something like that.
Except for Dark Sun. He hates Dark Sun.
It's not terrible.
Do Dark Sun. Please, somebody put Dark Sun in there because I love Dark Sun.
Anyway, guys, I'm Adam.
I'm Chris.
And this is Unconventional Builds.
Until then, take care and have fun in your D&D sessions.
See ya.